sun-soaked weather here in Southern California rarely changes, but the football outlook has. A 19-year-old redshirt freshman quarterback turned 1-3 into a 4-game win streak. Sam Darnold is clearly the next great one at USC. Trojan fans have high expectations, and now these college football blue bloods feel like a return to glory is headed their way. In march the Ducks, an Oregon team also thankful for a new QB. Many feel Oregon may have hit recruiting gold in 6'6" true freshman Justin Herbert. He just put forth a record-setting performance to get Oregon a much-needed win. Can he come to Hollywood and write a new script for the rest of the season? Busy weekend here at the historic Los Angeles Coliseum. NFL Rams here tomorrow, and a rejuvenated USC team now. Loads of talent, confidence, and the next star quarterback you need to know against the Oregon Ducks, and they're coming off a much-needed win. Of course, they have their own young passer who will be making his mark on the Pac-12. Beautiful sun-kissed day here in Southern California for a little Pac-12 action between the Trojans and the Ducks. Of course, USC opened up the year against Alabama, and then the 3 losses all on the road to ranked teams. Now averaging 500 total yards of offense in their last 4 games as the captains make their way out in front of the home crowd. Spend time with that group, and they'll tell you that with Sam Darnold at quarterback, much like their offensive coordinator T. Martin told us, it gives you a sense of hope. And his team is feeding off that. As we say, an early good evening to you, everybody. Joe Tessitore alongside Todd Blackwood. We'll say hello to Holly Rowe in just a moment. Both these teams needed a change in the midst of their season. Both teams went around getting it the same way. Quarterback change, youth movement.
Yeah, youth movement is right. USC went with a redshirt freshman, Sam Darnold. Oregon went to a true freshman, a local product in Justin Herbert, and almost immediately it paid dividends. Both guys seemed to raise the level of their offensive play, added some juice and energy that wasn't there. Combined, they have 8 starts. They also have 28 touchdown passes and only 4 interceptions. So I would say both of these offensive football teams are in capable hands for a long time.
Makes it sound like we could have a fun one tonight. Yeah. Of course, all the offensive talent at Oregon. They've been struggling defensively, but they still have great perimeter speed. They're talented in the backfield, and they're useful with the tight ends.
Yeah, they really are. And again, I think Herbert has given them a different dimension. They feel confident offensively. They're coming off of a 734-yard offensive output in their win over Arizona State. I expect a high-scoring affair out of these 2 teams.
And here come the Trojans. Let's say hello to Holly.
Well, guys, Oregon, despite their struggles this season, is still one of the top rushing offenses the country, including leading the Pac-12, and they've done it with Royce Freeman over the last several years, but some say he's having an off season. He did have a leg injury against Nebraska that cost him a game, but his productivity has not been where the coaches want. I asked Mark Helfrich, is he got any physical limitations that would prevent him from playing well in this game tonight, and he said no, but they are going to start someone new. Tony Brooks-James, the sophomore, will get the start over Royce Freeman. The coaches sending a message to Freeman that his effort has to improve.
Tony Brooks-James has breakaway speed as Oregon won the toss, and they will receive. As Charles Nelson will take it out from the end zone, and good coverage unit that time as he is met at about the 16-yard line. So here's our first look at Justin Herbert. This will be his 4th start time.
He's 6'6", 215 pounds. He was a 3-sport star at Sheldon High School in Eugene, and a little bit under the radar in terms of college recruiting, but Oregon knew exactly what they had. They wanted to redshirt him, but they felt at a certain point this year they needed to make the switch. And again, he started his first game against Washington, one of the best teams in the country, but in the last 2 weeks, he has played exceptionally well.
Yeah, that's a welcome to college football there, starting your first game against this version of Washington. And here is the aforementioned Tony Brooks James. The impact players are brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We will start with Brooks James, who's averaging 8.1 yards per carry, tied with Freeman with 8 rushing touchdowns for the team lead. Farrell Brown is one of the great comeback stories in the sport. We'll have more on that later. And Adoree Jackson, you always have to know where he is on the field, as Herbert throws incomplete here, and that'll leave him with 3rd and 6.
Got a little bit mixed up there. He wanted to throw quick on the hitch route, but Adoree Jackson was sitting right on it, and he had to throw that football away to bring up his first 3rd down.
3rd down and 11, some pressure coming after the freshman as he tries to stay alive. He does so, but the long strider takes a slide short of the 20-yard line, just a gain of 3, as it was Cameron Smith the first to get after him.
Yeah, not so much known as a dual threat guy as much as the guy we're going to see next, Sam Darnold, but he does a nice job of getting away from pressure and turning it into a positive play.
Adoree Jackson does have a punt return touchdown this year. He has 3 in his career. The first came against these Ducks, as Ian Whaler is set to punt away, heels on his 3. And there they go with what they've been practicing all week long, as Pittman gets it as they chased the cheese, Todd.
Yeah, they called it their rat return. And the rat in this case, or the cheese in this case, is Adoree Jackson, one of the best return guys in all of college football. Oregon is a directional punting team, and they're constantly or consistently going to. If you take a look at the upper right, here is Pittman, but Adoree Jackson is luring the Oregon defenders the other side of the field. He was the cheese, he was the bait, and USC is set up with great field position.
That was brilliant work by special teams coordinator John Baxter right out of the gate, as everybody had their eyes on Adoree Jackson. And little did they know it was Michael Pittman curling back to actually retrieve the punt. Brilliant play to look at the field position to start with.
Maybe only get away with that one time, but it was definitely effective.
Darnold now downfield he goes, and nearly intercepted that time. A flag comes in as Brendan Schooler was looking for his 4th of the year.
Well, the penalty certainly wasn't on Schooler. He had a clean shot to the football. I think they might even call offensive pass interference on Juju Smith-Schuster.
Pass interference, number 14 defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. That's an automatic 1st down.
That's Amadi.
He's guarding Juju Smith-Schuster. All right. Contact.
Jones was met and a tackle for loss of 1. Well, Sam Darnold, 13 touchdown passes over the last 3 games, the most in the Pac-12 during that stretch.
It's really changed the identity of the USC offense. They've gone to more RPOs, the run-pass options. He has extremely quick hands and has the ability to show run, to put the ball in the belly of the back and spit it out to the perimeter incredibly quick.
He gives him a little added dimension of being able to run just a bit. A gain of 4 as the crowd didn't like the way that Troy Dye was taking him out of bounds.
This was going to be a wide receiver screen. It was covered well by Oregon, and Darnold with another quick decision. One of the things that I've noticed in both of these quarterbacks, for as young as they are, the poise and the quickness of their decision making is outstanding for young players. That was no hesitation by Sam Darnold to tuck that ball and become a runner.
3rd and 7 now. Darnold looking over his options, and incomplete as he was looking for Deontay Burnett.
Well, this is a really good stop for an Oregon defense coming in that is ranked in the bottom 2 or 3 in most major categories, red zone defense being one of them. Coming in, they had given up 79% touchdowns inside the red zone. So to force a field goal attempt here on USC's first possession is outstanding.
And Burmeister on to attempt a 35-yard field goal. And he gets the Trojans on the board. As Justin Herbert and that Oregon offense looks to get going here in LA. 3-zip Trojans. Glad you're with us here for college football primetime. Joe, Todd, and Holly. Field goal lead for the Trojans. Charles Nelson is so dangerous in the return game. Leads the country in kickoff return yards. Leads the country with 7 kickoff returns of 30+ yards. Not a concern with Burmeister's kick. Brooks James wrapped up a tackle for loss. That Trojans front and Cameron Smith getting involved. A loss of 2.
USC's defense playing much more consistently. Clancy Pendergast, the defensive coordinator, his 3rd stint at USC, and they just seem to be more comfortable in his system. Their run fits much more cohesive and consistent over the last few ball games.
He says it takes some time to trust in the defense, especially with the run fits. Here's Herbert now on 2nd down, but that was good coverage that time. Adoree Jackson right on top of Johnny Munn. Here is Clancy Pendergast. Spent a year with the 49ers and returned to USC. 3rd and 8. As Herbert gets it to Brown, who was met right away that time by Chris Hawkins.
It's a good job on consecutive 3rd down plays by this USC defense, forcing a long yardage need and then stopping the ball carrier or the receiver short.
How do you think the level of awareness by the coverage team will be here on this punt return, Todd?
Well, the directional punting strategy of Oregon is to punt to the same sideline that the ball is on that hash. So this should be a punt to the right sideline or the near sideline right here.
And it wasn't a good punt at all by Ian Whaler, but they got rid of that rat return. You use it once, you put it to bed. Trojans back on offense when we return. USC fans enjoying a 4-game win streak after that 1-3 start. Up a field goal.
I want to go back to the punt return that started the game and led to the field goal. It was very well executed, this rat return. You're going to see Michael Pittman in the circle. He is going to be the guy that's going to ultimately get the return. Adoree Jackson is the decoy. Here's Adoree Jackson, and he is going to go away from where the punt is going to try to lure the coverage guys of Oregon with him, which he did. The ball went to Pittman. They got a couple blocks over there, and they opened up the game with that play. An excellent field position to set up the field goal to start the game.
So back to business is the redshirt freshman Sam Darnold, as he gets it to Davis, who was lined up in the backfield, and he's able to muscle his way for 5 yards.
Oregon's new defensive coordinator this year, Brady Hoke, former head coach at Michigan, head coach at San Diego State. And they have just been hurt by injuries, a lot of young players, especially up front. But they did play better a week ago.
2nd and 5. Jones well blocked, still on his feet as he gets free from a block and into Oregon territory with a 12-yard run.
Ronald Jones did a nice job. Watch the center, Nico Fala. He's right in front of the quarterback. He's a very skilled guy. He has tackle skills. He pulls on this play. You got to have an athletic center to do that. He gets out there and gets the lead block, and a nice run by Ronald Jones. USC over the last 2 years has had major problems at center, but Nico Fala has really solidified the position for him.
Darnold to the outside and gets it complete to the sure-handed Juju Smith-Schuster. 9-yard reception for Smith-Schuster.
Good awareness by Sam Darnold. A lot of young quarterbacks, when they leave the pocket and start to scramble, they don't keep their eyes downfield. Darnold did a nice job of that, finding Smith-Schuster on the sideline for a 9-yard gain.
2nd and 1. Jones straight up the middle and into the end zone for the Trojans.
23-yard carry. Ronald Jones the second.
So Ronald Jones, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year.
Great blocking by the center and the right guard. Chad Wheeler, the left tackle, is going to get away with a little bit of a hold here. But excellent execution on the ball side, on the play side, and Ronald Jones Jr. easily into the end zone.
Consider this Oregon defense too, and told you how they've struggled. 2nd worst in the FBS in total defense, giving up 234 rushing yards per game. And well struck that time by Bormeister. Herbert downfield, looking for the big one, and it's right through the hands of Darren Carrington.
Nice call on 1st down, play action, move the quarterback, change his launch point, and Carrington, if he catches this, probably extends to the end zone. Carrington running a deep crossing route. He has Marshall beat and just doesn't secure the catch.
Todd, I'm looking at those shadow lines and the way the sun is setting right now, and I don't know that Carrington couldn't have been impacted by that. That is batted at the line of scrimmage. See the sun cresting right over the top of the Coliseum, but look at his face as he tries to look that ball in.
But look at his eyes. His eyes never left the football.
No,
so I mean, it didn't look like he was distracted by it. And nonetheless, it's a 3rd down and long again for Oregon.
Taj Griffin in the game now next to Herbert. It's a bad snap. Herbert fortunate just to control it and then able to get rid of it.
Yeah, this is a bad start for the Oregon offense. Credit USC's defense and their pressure. A high snap. Herbert does well just to handle it and avoid the negative yardage play. But another 3 and out for this Oregon offense.
3rd straight 3 and out. Wheeler did not have a good punt last time. It was only a 29-yard punt because he was unable to turn it over. And this one he can't turn over again, as it is fielded all the way up near the 44-yard line. So good field position again. This time only a 31-yard punt by Ian Wheeler. 10-0 Trojans on top. Darnold double clutch that time and able to get it to McNamara. Fumble ball came out towards the end there, but able to recover it. Let's go down to the field to Holly.
USC coming off a season-high rushing last week with 398 yards, but they've got some problems with injury. Justin Davis not starting his 3rd straight game due to a high ankle, and Cedric Ware is not playing today, out of uniform after an injury Tuesday in practice. So you see number 16, Dominic Davis, who only had 12 attempts coming into this game, getting a lot of run.
Davis, very fast guy, sprinter on the USC track team. You get a glimpse of it here, Holly.
You know, Joe, the problem when you have a defense struggling in the way that Oregon's defense is struggling, you come into a game like this and you hope for 2 things. One, you hope your offense stays on the field, possesses the football. 3 and outs, that didn't happen. And you at least hope that they flip the field and make USC go the long way. Their average starting field position has been the 50-yard line.
That's a Dory Jackson now in on offense, Todd, as he splits out to the top of your screen. And there's a strike that time to McNamara. Good ball from Darnold, 27-yard reception.
Well, great protection. You have to respect Adoree Jackson. He's just running a clear-out route. Jackson is up here at the top. He's running a clear-out route for the tight end who's running the over, but that protection allowed Darnold to double clutch and not have anything affect his vision and get the ball downfield to McNamara.
Jones bounces free and into the end zone for his second touchdown.
Kirby was the first guy there at penetration, made contact in the backfield. But as you teach all young defenders, you got to wrap up, especially a good back. And Ronald Jones did not feel the wrap-up tackle, spun out, and got it into the end zone. How deflating was the penalty on third down? Kirby is lined up right here, and he's going to get penetration here and make great contact, but you got to wrap up. And Ronald Jones able to take advantage of the missed tackle, and USC out to a quick lead of 17-0.
2 touchdown runs by Ronald Jones II. We know what happened with Lane Kiffin. We know what happened with Steve Sarkisian. And the word was trust.
Yeah.
You said players have to have a trust in their coach.
Yeah.
You feel that here?
I do feel that. I think there's a good vibe, a good feeling that these players have for their coach and their coaching staff that maybe the outside world isn't clued into.
So now kicking from the 30, it only goes to the goal line for Charles Nelson as he looks to get a block and get to the edge. Nelson able to return it out to the 27-yard line. Here's Royce Freeman, as it was Brooks James who started the game, but now a good run from the junior Freeman. Holly?
You know, they said because he has been here 7 years, he has been the one consistent on this coaching staff through all those ups and downs. He said there is a comfort level with my players through tough times.
Freeman again able to wiggle his way out past the 41-yard line, gain of 4.
This is a critical drive for this Oregon offense. After a bunch of 3-and-outs, they're down on the scoreboard. This is not an offense that typically worries about coming from behind, but they've got to get some momentum.
And Herbert was off the mark looking for Brown.
It really feels like USC's defense is trying to squeeze the passing game of Oregon. They're sitting on short routes. They're not playing off coverage. I don't know if they can do it on this 3rd and 11, but eventually Oregon's going to need to try to stretch this coverage a little bit.
3rd and 11, they only bring 3 as Herbert steps up and throws a good-looking one to Jalen Brown for a first down all the way down into USC territory. 27 yards on 3rd and 11.
Great adjustment by the receiver as Michael Hutchings, the middle linebacker, is dropping underneath that. The receiver cut in front of the linebacker.
Here's an end around now with Nelson. As Nelson turns on the speed and scores for the Ducks. Much needed on the board, Oregon.
Perfect time to call that. Good field position. Owusu, number 42, recognizes it, but too late to catch up to the speed of Charles Nelson. And Oregon takes advantage of their defensive stop, takes advantage of the great punt and the field position, and in one play gets themselves back in this football game.
That was a mishandled snap that time. And because of it, they never got it straight. So they missed the extra point. As Taylor Alley couldn't handle it, let's watch the snap from Tanner Carew.
Good
That's
snap.
just a bad hold, Todd.
Yep. I've never been a big fan of all the shifts out and back in and do all that. Just line up and kick the extra point. But
Senior Matt Wogan is 8th in the nation in touchbacks, and that's exactly why he is. Darnold, as he gets it quickly to Burnett. 8-yard completion there. Was all USC early on. Ronald Jones
That's the end
with
of
2
the first
rushing
quarter.
touchdowns, and then Charles Nelson and Oregon finally get on the board. An 11-point lead for the Trojans at the end of 1. USC on top of Oregon as Jones kept his balance for a moment before meeting Troy Dye.
Jones has already shown tonight if you don't wrap him up and get him to the ground, he's going to bust through arm tackles and keep those legs churning. He looks very fresh again tonight. As Holly mentioned, playing without Ware and without Davis, Justin Davis that is. Dominic Davis spelling a few reps for Ronald Jones.
Look who's in the backfield, Todd.
Have to account for him no matter what. Even if he's a decoy, you got to account for him.
Dory Jackson on the field, and the ball is off the hands of Smith-Schuster. That is rare to see.
See, I would expect, and they said every week they practice with Dory Jackson with the idea of maybe having him for 10 to 12 plays of offense. I put him in the same category as Jabril Peppers at Michigan. He's that dynamic of a player. We see it on defense. We see it in the return game. I think if you're going to put him on the field on offense, give him the football and let him try to do something.
2nd and 10, pressure off the edge, but Darnold gets it away and does so beautifully to Michael Pittman. You talk about guys that play both on defense and offense. Well, career offense, there are the numbers between Jackson and Peppers. Tackles and interceptions. You see, obviously, Peppers is having an outstanding year, and he's tracking with Heisman hype. But Adoree Jackson is as valuable to this team every bit as any all-purpose player is to any team.
There's the quick
Here's
hands of Darnold. That's an RPO, a run pass option. It's up to the quarterback. It's up to his instincts. He's going to fake the ball to the running back here, and then he's going to get it out quickly to the perimeter. He reads it. He makes the decision. Fake, get it out. Sometimes he has the laces to throw, sometimes not. The key is how quickly he can get it to the perimeter, and he does that really well.
Leaves them a 2nd and 2, and a good surge by Justin Hollins to get in the backfield against Dominic Davis, a loss of 2.
You know, I just want to go back to the thing about Adoree Jackson. Now, again, this offense is averaging 550 yards a game over the last 4 ball games with Sam Darnold. But Adoree Jackson last year had 27 rushes, or 27 receptions and 7 rushes, and was productive. This year, no catches and only 2 rushes for 12 yards. I think he's valuable enough, even though you don't necessarily need another skill player, but he's dynamic.
And he just muscles it when he wants to, doesn't he? Deontay Burnett, first down, Trojans. Good look from Sam Darnold.
He has such a feel for Deontay Burnett. Sometimes you just develop that with a particular receiver. Darnold has that with Burnett.
And now dragging with him this time is Burnett again. And lunging for an extra yard that time, as the game clock is down to under a minute to play.
And good use of a timeout there. You got 3 of them. Get your offensive linemen a little bit of water, a little rest. Get the exact play call, or maybe 2 plays called that you want if you're USC.
A lot of energy now with Darnold at quarterback. That's a heck of a play that time by Jalen Jelks, the sophomore defensive end, darting right in.
And because of that, USC has to use another timeout immediately. Jelks right here on the end of the line is going to get up the field, read it, and wrap up. Again, you have to wrap this guy up, and Jelks does a nice job there.
3rd and 7. Can Ronald Jones get there? Puts down the shoulders and will have the first down with 53 seconds remaining in this first half.
It's a big drive for USC's offense. Remember, Oregon won the coin toss and elected to receive, so USC will get the ball to start the third quarter. No better way to seize control of a game than to score right before halftime and come out with the ball to start the third quarter.
They're going to keep him in this time. Well, and they tried to get him the ball on a little hit the ground. None of this is going to count as this was waved incomplete. He was finding trouble just trying to get through the line to get free.
Well, credit the pressure from Oregon. Great pressure from Oregon. Forced that ball. There's the bounce. Clearly, Darnold not able to step into that throw.
Back on the game clock. 48 seconds. Thank you.
That's where they were going all the way, trying to hit Adoree Jackson on the short crossing route, but immediate pressure by the Oregon defense forced the bad throw by Darnold.
But if you execute it clean, that's a real nice look to get him into space. But credit the Ducks defense there. 2nd and 10. Snap was a little off center, but this isn't. As Burnett again inside the 1.
SC still has one timeout. I mean, some guys just have a feel, particularly in the red zone. Burnett on the crossing route. Nice touch. That time, Darnold had enough time to make the throw. You see the right foot out of bounds. That's in front of the 1-yard line. I'll back this up a little bit.
You could clearly see that foot stepping out of bounds.
2-yard line.
1st and goal. Another bad snap. And that's complete. And that's actually not a good thing for USC, as Matt Orbebe made the diving catch there right at the line of scrimmage. As Matt Bormeister may get himself an opportunity. He really likes Burnett, that's for sure. Among all those that he targets, he's gone 8 times and come up with 6 receptions. The most recent setting them up with 2nd and goal now. And here he is again. Deontay Burnett. 2-yard touchdown reception.
Every team in America runs this. It's kind of a rub play. Defenses call it a pick play. But both outside receivers are running routes. Burnett's going to come back in motion. The 2 outside receivers run a clear, and Burnett wide open, beating the inside defender, Khalil Oliver, for the touchdown. That's not just good execution by Burnett. It's good execution by the outside receivers to not get called for an illegal pick or offensive pass interference.
24-6 USC. Burnett just got the 2-yard touchdown catch as we send it back to the studio for the Buick halftime report.
Well, Coach, you told us that you love to be situational masters. So a drive at the end of the half, you convert 2 third downs. How were you situationally mastered there?
Really good 2-minute drive, especially by the quarterback, protecting the football, distributing it, and then finishing off in the end zone.
You guys started out 17-0, but then kind of hit a lull. What prevented you from getting better right there?
They made a nice change, I'll be honest with you. They started loading the box in the second quarter, and then we kind of adjusted. So it's been a little bit of a chess match offensively. Defensively, I can't give our kids enough credit to be able to hold that offense to what we are right now. I'm very proud.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Joe Totten-Holly here in LA. 24-6. USC on top. 6 points for this Oregon's Ducks defense. I know they've struggled this year overall as a team, but the offense has been mighty good, especially with the new freshman quarterback. In fact, 38 straight games with 20-plus points. That's the nation's active longest streak that's being threatened now tonight by this USC defense.
Yeah, it really is. I think USC's defense has done a lot of things really well. Number one, they've done a good job against the run, only 50 yards rushing. They've done a great job on third down. I mean, with a lot of 3 and outs for this Oregon offense, they're not doing a good job getting conversions on third down. And then USC's offense has kept that Oregon offense on the sidelines because they ran 20 more plays in the first half. And again, that USC offense, they've been on a roll here with Sam Darnold the last 4 or 5 weeks, and they are right on pace for another 500-plus yard game.
Let's see what Holly thinks of things.
Well, it's more important what Mark Helfrich thinks of things for Oregon. You know, they were going to load the box and try to really sink in on the run against USC. They limited them to 80 yards in the first half, but USC started hitting some pass plays. So Helfrich says, hey, look, we've got to put some more pressure on that quarterback, mix up our coverages a little bit better. And he said, offensively, we've had our chances. You know, Herbert's been under pressure, but they tried moving him. That drop touchdown pass, that was a movement play. So they have to just execute better on offense.
Off the upright with the big leg there. So Sam Darnold, the redshirt freshman from San Clemente High School, been doing his thing over the past month with great success. The last 4 games came in with 16 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions, and he added 1 more touchdown pass tonight as he was able to find Deontay Burnett just before halftime.
Tell you the thing I'm really impressed with, one of the things, there's several things, but his feel of when to leave the pocket and scramble and either throw or run, and when to just move and slide and step up in the pocket and make a throw down the field. He has a really good feel for what to do in that situation.
Quickly gets it out to Smith-Schuster. And he has been unexpectedly quiet tonight. Guy who's always talked about as one of the more talented players in college football. Only 2 catches and 10 yards tonight. Second and 9. Over the middle. A little under route to Taylor McNamara.
Oregon brought pressure, and they actually had a free rusher in Henry Mondu, but the ball was out of Darnold's hands so quickly that he couldn't get to him.
It's 3rd and very short here as they quickly get to the line. And Ronald Jones is going to more than take care of it as he makes 1 cut, and he is gone. 3 times a charm. Ronald Jones, 66-yard touchdown run.
66 yards. Ronald Jones the second.
Well, we talked about you can't get him with arm tackles. Watch right here, right over the center, number 47, Rex Manu is going to have a shot, and he can't wrap him up. And then he makes a beautiful move on the safety, the true freshman Brendan Schooler. And Ronald Jones with another big night for this Trojan offense.
3rd touchdown of the night for Rojo. I don't know that many teams want to see this version of USC coming up on the schedule. Ronald Jones is having a big one tonight. Buck 10 on the ground, 3 scores. What a stretch here for Ronald Jones. Ran for 223 last week, and now 110 rushing yards, averaging 9.2 yards per carry as he just went for 66. That'll help your average. 31-6 USC. Here's Nelson from inside the 5. He's able to get to that corner, but then he is met. That was Jack Jones on kick coverage. Out of the backfield is Freeman. And he was met that time by Tell. Picks up 7 yards there. Can't help but get curious about what we could be seeing with USC Washington. Still a lot of football to be played here tonight. And then Washington will be our Pac-12 nightcap a little later on against Cal. Farrell Brown, the big-bodied Farrell Brown, one of the great comeback stories in the sport, suffered a horrific leg injury back in 2014.
Yeah, Holly and I were actually doing that game. It was at Utah in Salt Lake City. And yeah, that was a scary, scary moment. Or several moments.
Herbert, first down throw complete to Carrington.
Well, Todd, it's so beautiful to see this young man back out on the field. We were standing there on that field when he went through that injury and watching the medical staff have to hold his leg and stabilize it as it was almost coming off of his leg. It was a horrific injury. Couldn't sleep that night thinking about this young man, so it's really special to see him playing tonight.
Holly, there was initial fear, wasn't there, that he could actually lose his lower leg? He never, of course, be able to play football again as he was on the road to recovery, they were telling him, and then all the way back to the point of being able to play. Amazing, isn't it?
You know, and Joe, he was in ICU for weeks at Utah, and the Utah coaching staff went to visit him. I know that he had to be there in Salt Lake City for quite some time. And, you know, just a great credit to all the medical personnel that have helped this young man get back and not only keep the use of his leg, but having him back out on the field.
Herbert able to find his tight end Munt. And they've had a lot of success this year with all the compliments of tight ends. This goes for 16 yards.
Their tight ends are very versatile. They can line up inside. They can go outside. Like right here, this is a tight end and this is a tight end. Two guys, very versatile in how they can use them in formation.
And this time down to the 5-yard line to Johnny Munt.
Part of that's by necessity because of some of the injuries to their wide receivers, and part of it is that's just what they're comfortable doing and a way they like to play offense.
Play action. And into the end zone for the touchdown, Farrell Brown. We told you the story of his road to recovery. Now the touchdown strike here.
Well, watch, he just has a little hesitation to the inside and just enough to freeze Cameron Smith. And that's all he needed, a little separation away from the linebacker Smith. That little hesitation and the move inside. And he gets the touchdown. That was a good use of the tight ends, that whole possession by Justin Herbert.
That was a well-orchestrated drive by Oregon. A drive that started back at the 20, went 12 plays, and was capped with Justin Herbert to Farrell Brown. 13th passing touchdown of the year for Herbert. Over the head of Adoree Jackson for the touchback. 3rd and 3 as Darnold looking for a lane and then throws it late and gets it complete to Michael Pittman.
Again, just the instinctive play, a 17-yard gain made completely by the quarterback. Just feeling when to leave the pocket, when to move, eyes downfield, don't panic, and makes a play. It's like backyard football.
What was it that T. Martin said to us the other day? Quick hands, right?
Yeah.
Quick hands.
Quick hands and quick decisions.
Quick decisions. T, the offensive coordinator here for USC, former BCS championship winning quarterback for Tennessee. There is T. He is very well regarded in terms of one of the most up-and-coming coordinators in the game. Always nice to visit with him.
Yeah.
Impressive coach.
He's always been regarded a great recruiter, and I think he's starting to get his due a little bit now about how quality of a football coach he is as well.
There's Darnold spinning out of it, and then downfield he goes, and staying with it that time was a Bebe. A little Sam Darnold magic, and a Bebe delivering.
Great touch on this ball at the end of the play. He has to get it over Brendan Schooler, who picked him off the last possession. Schooler gets a hand on it, but enough air under the football. And Bebe able to make the big play.
37-yard reception, Daniel Bebe. And now slicing through the Ducks defense that time was Ronald Jones. 17-yard run.
Those kind of plays that the quarterback just made, they take so much heart and steam out of a defense. You got him penned in, you force him out of the pocket, and then he makes a big improvising play, and then you get gashed on the next run play. Just it really can demoralize you as a defense.
How much fun are the next few years in USC with this kid playing quarterback? 6'4", 225, do it all, Sam Darnold.
You know, it was interesting. I asked him because I'd heard that he made a real impression from day one when he was here, and he redshirted. He was running the scout team against the first team defense, and I asked him what was the biggest benefit of running scout team, and he said it was just that feel of throwing against them and knowing when to leave the pocket, when to move in the pocket, still try to make plays. And boy, that really shows tonight. He has a great feel and pocket presence.
2nd and 6. Darnold again gets it complete to a tight end, and a touchdown for Taylor McNamara. I think that drive right there shows you everything you need to know about why they're so excited about Sam Darnold. 7-yard touchdown catch for McNamara.
He brings such balance to their offense, Joe. His ability to extend plays, his ability to throw in a lot of different places, his ability to run and operate in the RPO game. This USC offense has great balance between run and pass. We saw a little bit of everything out of Sam Darnold. This play, backyard, scramble, get out, keep your eyes downfield. He finds Bebe for 37 yards. And then the touchdown throw. Again, the run pass balance, couple Ronald Jones runs. Fake it to Jones, get outside. And McNamara for the touchdown.
38-13. 434 yards of total offense. There's Nelson on the return. As the flag comes flying in, as they're able to find Nelson just beyond the 20-yard line. That is Kenai Benoit in the backfield. And he is taken down for a loss. And that is Gustin, who made the big play moments ago defensively for the turnover on downs.
Again, we saw this USC defense against Stanford back in the month of September. They weren't nearly as in sync as they appear tonight. Their run fits, their discipline, their coverage, everything fitting together for Clancy Pendergast in a much more efficient way right now.
Clancy made the comment to us that we've gotten a lot better of eliminating the big plays on 1st down, 2nd down, giving our guys a chance to get off the field on 3rd down, and that's exactly what it is here. One of those down and distances that puts you in great shape defensively.
And Oregon 4 of 13 on 3rd down for the night.
Herbert steps up and goes down. They ran a stunt on the right side of the line, and he stepped up into it, and they were coming around the end as well.
Good pressure. The stunt's going to come this way. Inside, they get pressure along the outside. That's Rasheem Green, number 94, that's going to get there first. And Owusu from the other side. That's just a good, strong pass rush by the front four.
So Wheeler on to punt, and it is not a pretty one. As it goes out of bounds, try to stay away from Adoree Jackson.
I'll tell you mentioned not going to want to see this USC offense down the stretch. I think their offensive line is playing well. Quarterback, obviously, we've documented that. And their balance, their run pass balance, their ability to run block and pass protect, pretty good.
And then Darnold's ability to do just that. A flag is down as Pittman is still on his feet. Darnold's a big presence. He's very aware in those quick hands, and he's decisive. We'll see if this stands, but this may be coming back as the flag is back at the 43.
Pass interference, number 6, offense. 15-yard penalty. Take those down.
Well, they're going to call pushing by Michael Pittman. Watch Pittman push with his left hand and then break outside. Got that hand up around the helmet, and that's what drew the call. I think the fact that that hand got up so high is probably why that got so easily detected as well. There's always a little pushing and trying to create separation, but that was clear.
That's the end of the third quarter.
Third quarter has started with Ronald Jones ripping off the 66-yard touchdown run, and then Darnold's touchdown pass to push this lead to 25.
People asking questions about Ohio State coming into today's action. Didn't look great against Northwestern. Low scoring, close game. Many people thought they got outplayed by Wisconsin, but tonight, boy, they are making a statement against Nebraska at home.
JT Barrett, a couple of touchdown passes there. They lead 31-3. Tommy Armstrong left that game injured, the Nebraska quarterback. 2nd and 34 because of the penalty. As Darnold is able to find Pittman, and Pittman gets loose, and he's going to be out towards the 40. Holly?
Well, we're seeing a lot of Michael Pittman right now because the security blanket for Sam Darnold, who's done such a nice job, Deontay Burnett, has been on the sideline being evaluated for a left knee injury. They have fitted him for a sleeve. He's standing here like he could return to the game, but it doesn't look like they're going to risk it right now. And Pittman's doing a pretty good job out there.
That is his security blanket, isn't it? He's targeted him 9 times, 7 receptions, 87 yards, and a touchdown before halftime. And middle screen this time with Jones, cuts back against the grain and somehow able to convert. 3rd and 13, he gets 15 yards. Remember where they started this.
Good timing, good execution. Darnold sells it. Ronald Jones waits for his blockers to get out in front. And then again, his ability to break arm tackles has been evident all night.
Todd, remember that was 1st and 35 just a couple plays ago. One-handed catch. Pittman, he turned to the outside on that 4-yard hitch.
This is the quick hands that T. Martin talks about. Watch the quick fake to Ronald Jones, the line's blocking run, and then he makes the read to throw it, and he gets it out so quickly. That is not an easy thing to do. That's not an easy operation for a quarterback, but Sam Darnold makes it look easy.
This is a fun to watch young quarterback, and not because he's reckless or a gunslinger or outrageous with what he's doing. He is super talented.
He's a ball player.
He is a ball player.
Yeah,
he's got that it factor. First down run by Jones. Here he goes again. First and goal, USC. 31-yard run by Jones.
Nice job, Chad Wheeler. The left tackle is going to come out and pull. Nico Falla. The center is going to come out and pull. Tight end McNamara gets a good block at the point of attack. The balance of this USC offense is impressive. I kind of like the mouthpiece of Ronald Jones Jr. too.
Intense.
I love it.
Could he have his 4th touchdown of the night? Trying to fight his way for it. Stacked up as Tay Kirby has the tackle. I think his running back teammates are enjoying it. Ced Ware and Justin Davis, who are out injured tonight.
Here's the other thing about Sam Darnold. He threw the interception on a very bad decision, right? He comes right back. He's hit his next 6 passes since the interception.
Quattro Rojo. 4 touchdowns for Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones just gets in here behind this big offensive line. Follows his guard, Damian Mama, the pulling left guard, and powers it into the end zone.
How does 516 yards of total offense for USC grab you? Still 11:41 to play. Wow. There's Michael Pittman, familiar name, and the former NFL running back for many years. Nelson takes a knee. Dakota Prukop in at quarterback now for Oregon. Today. Any early thoughts here, Todd? Alabama and LSU still to be determined. Prukop downfield, and Prukop has it complete to Jalen Brown. Nice spark here in the 4th quarter for 36 yards.
Well, you know, Alabama obviously has their hands full with LSU, a great defensive football team, a real defensive battle. Very hostile place to play. Interesting to see how that one finishes up. Clemson continues to do their thing. I think Ohio State made a real strong statement, or is in the midst of making a real strong statement tonight.
I think they had
to get themselves back. Yeah, I do
too. Don't you? Because between the Penn State game and sort of lingering through the Northwestern game, I think there were those that were starting to worry and wonder about Ohio State. Dakota Prukop to pass again, and he gets it quickly complete to Mitchell.
Mitchell, the receiver. Brought down by number 14, Isaiah Lambert.
Benoit is the running back in with Prukop. This has been an impressive evening all around for USC, including another play up at the line by Quinton Powell, who's been very active the past few minutes here.
Keep in mind now, this offense coming into the ball game for Oregon, averaging 519 yards per game. The leading rush team in the Pac-12, only 70 yards rushing. Now, granted, when they got behind, they've not run the ball as much in the second half, but this USC defense has completely handcuffed Oregon all night.
And this 4th and 4 right here with a significant streak on the line for Oregon, as it's incomplete, but Oregon, flags come in, had scored 20+ points in 38 straight games, and that is the nation's longest active streak of scoring 20 or more, and obviously sitting here at 13 with just over 6 minutes to play.
Isaiah Langley with the pass interference.
It's an automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
So there is the number. You know, this long run of success with Oregon, especially offensively. 38 straight games they've been over 20 points. But this USC defense is doing their job. Holly?
Not good news for Oregon fans. Tony Brooks-James, their terrific sophomore running back, out with a left lower leg injury. Could play a part in next week's game as well.
Is Colorado. A pretty good football team. And they've had a good season. Mike McIntyre, the coach there, has got things going. They're a fast-paced offense.
Came up with a win the other night against UCLA. Trying to go up for it, but not finding it was Darren Carrington.
It's interesting. Washington State playing, you know, they've always been good on offense under Mike Leach. Defensively, they're playing much better. They kind of control their situation. Everybody knows about Washington. But Washington State, Utah, Colorado, and now USC surging. It's going to be an interesting month of November.
2nd and 5. Prukop, good-looking run as he rolls over a defender and goes into the end zone. He did not touch the ground there. He went right over Malik Dorton and rolled into the end zone, Todd.
Yes, he did. Nice block by Evan Bayless, number 81. Watch the tight end lead the way. Prukop hanging on to the football, goes right over the body and into the end zone.
That's a great athletic effort.
Graduate transfer from Montana State. Started the first 5 ball games. Showed his athleticism there.
So that unique streak of scoring 20 or more, this extra point could push it there. Schneider missed one earlier tonight with an awkward hold. And he puts this through. So that streak stays alive. 39 straight games, the nation's longest active streak. They'd prefer to be a little closer on the scoreboard than own that mark. But this is a good effort from Dakota. Time presented by Hampton by Hilton. As we remind you that we will keep it in the Pac-12 tonight. You can see Jake Browning, Washington, currently number 5, but obviously a great chance to be in that top 4 when the new college football playoff rankings are revealed Tuesday night. They're going to be taking on that high-scoring Cal team coming up.
Well, USC ran for 398 yards against that Cal defense.
James Toland getting time at running back now. He's a former walk-on.
Washington's offense ran for 378 yards against this Oregon defense, so I'm sure that'll be a big part of the game plan tonight for the Huskies, trying to run the football, possess the ball. Jake Browning's a fun quarterback to watch too. I enjoyed watching Sam Darnold tonight, but we had Jake Browning a couple weeks ago, and he is playing at a very high level as well.
Toland with another good run. Well, you mentioned Washington. I know that's a team that you've been tracking a little differently than the way the committee put it forth.
Well, I had Washington in the top 4 from the very beginning with this. I think the team that has been making the move for me has been Michigan over the last few weeks. I just think that defensively they've played at a high level all year. I think their offense and their quarterback have gotten better and better each week. And so that's been my top 4. Ohio State is making a move, and Louisville, I think Lamar Jackson is brilliant, probably the best player in college football, but still a little bit on the outside looking in right now.
He accounted for 7 touchdowns today, did Lamar Jackson. Toland with another good run, that one for 10 yards. Wilton Speight had 362 yards and 2 touchdowns today.
He's just getting better and better, and it's pretty impressive to see what the combination of Jim Harbaugh and Jed Fish, the offensive coordinator at Michigan, do with quarterbacks. You know, they took a graduate transfer from Iowa last year and turned him into an NFL kind of guy. And Wilson Speight is getting better and better each week.
And then, of course, they have the guy that gets everybody's attention, Jabril Peppers. You know, last week he had such a big game, and then we turn to the Heisman voters, the official voters every week, and we say, hey, if you had to fill out your ballot today, what would it look like? And when you tallied everything up, Well, all of a sudden there was Jabril Peppers in second place, the only other guy getting some first place support. Peppers had 5 tackles today and 1 tackle for loss. Of course, if he gets involved in the return game and starts bringing the ball back, that's when he gets everybody's attention. But that showdown with Ohio State's going to do wonders for if it's a legitimate campaign or not.
I think another reason why people get so excited about Peppers is he's unique, and they utilize him on offense quite a bit. He'll come in as a wildcat quarterback. He'll come in the backfield, does a lot of different things.
This is a pretty good late look at James Tolan. 9 more yards for him as USC is taking this clock down and coasting in for a very comfortable win, where we saw every facet of what the Trojans can be at their best. And Clay Helton, I know there are a lot of people that had a lot to say about Clay Helton earlier this year, including some criticism even locally and from some prominent USC alums after that 1-3 start, Holly.
Well, I think a lot of people around here were questioning things. That was one of the worst starts they've been off to. Keyshawn Johnson's got a radio show that he had me on, and they were all questioning whether Coach Helton was the right choice. And I think he's proven that he can be the right choice here at USC. You know, I think that a lot of people were wondering, he hadn't been a head coach before, but he's showing people that just took a little time to get the right quarterback, the right system and style of offense, and now they're rocking and rolling. So good support here.
Well, and I think also the stability that he has brought with his personality, with his demeanor, with his consistency, with his staff is exactly what this team needed. They have gone through so much turmoil in the last few years, and we talked about the trust that he's built with the players. That's why they were able to weather the 1-3 start. You know, in the last couple of years, if they'd have started 1-3, they'd have had guys bailing on this team all over the place.
He told us the other day, Todd, he said, this is what you want to see as a head coach, playing your best football in November and playing meaningful games. They've earned the right to play meaningful games. They got a very meaningful game next week.
That's going to be a huge game. Really going to be a fun game to watch, because this is not the same USC team in the month of November that we saw in the month of September. And they will challenge every bit of what Washington has to offer in that game.
The first down run as they continue to bleed the clock. And the perspective of the college football playoff rankings after Texas A&M tumbles, and we will see what Washington offers up. Many felt the Pac-12 was snubbed. Washington should have been deserving of having a 4 next to their name. Now they get to prove it. They look different, don't they, Todd?
They sure do.
Six wins now on the season for USC. A 5-game win streak after that 1-3 start. Sam Darnold, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ronald Jones, 171 yards and 4 touchdowns, 45-20. Now enjoy the rest of your night with Rod Gilmore and Mark Jones.